Chosen One!
Welcome to episode 0 of The Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Adepticon. And pretty much, I know it's a couple months late, but I figured I'd let you know how I did and what went into prep and everything for the biggest Shatterpoint event we've had so far in the game's history. And without further ado, so Adepticon prep. I spent a good while testing some lists, and I knew I wanted to take Mandalorian to the event, and I wanted to take Mace Windu. Thankfully, with the Mace Windu end, we got Ki-Adi Mundi, and a Mace Mundi list actually was doing really well. So I ended up taking Mace box, which was Mace Pawns, ARFs, and then Mundi box, Mundi Shakti Padawans. That list got locked in pretty early because I wanted to take Mace. When it came to Mando, it was a no-brainer. I was playing all Mandos and the Oops All Mando list. I ran Mando with Bo-Katan and Coverts under there because I wanted the more aggressive side on that side of the team. And then I went with Armorer, Paz, and the Clan Kreese. Paz was in short contention of being dropped, but I decided against it because I knew Empire was going to be really big into this event, especially with Iden. And Paz is kind of the answer to Iden for Mandalorians. Without Paz and Mando, you're kind of at a shortfall against the Iden lists because you can't really wound them as fast and you do not have as much of a response. So those were my two lists for the World Championship. Then when it came to the team tournament, I teamed up with a player named Plugacoid on Discord. We talked up on the Rogue Sport Discord. We messaged each other because I was looking for a teammate and he volunteered, and we wanted to do a bounty hunter / like Empire good stuff style list. So we really wanted to focus on being able to mix match and have the scoundrels / bounty hunters. Our team name was No Disintegrations. We ended up on, so for my side of the list was Charming Leia, IG-88, and ISB agents because they're spies. I want some type of spy synergy with Leia. And then I ended up taking Luminara, Crosshair, Fifth Brother. Just a generic good stuff list. I ran the support primaries of Leia and Lumi. And then my teammate ran Mando, Dark Troopers, and Death Trooper Escort. Again, just good stuff. Mando with Death Trooper and Dark Troopers, Imperial synergies there. And Cad Bane Shakti Bounty Hunters, which ended up being one of the MVP lists of our event. Really handled out well for us. And when we get to that part of the player report, I will let you know more in detail. Then for adversaries to allies, the prep for this was I was thinking I was going to do some type of Bad Batch team or whatnot, but I ended up on Ki-Adi Mundi box with the Armorer box. So I ran Ki-Adi Mundi Shakti Padawans, and then I ran Armorer, Paz Vizsla, and the Covert Mandalorians. This idea came about for the fact that Shakti has mercenary synergies and the entire Mandalorian box of armor are all mercenaries allows them to do pretty well with Shakti, and allowed me to run a significant 6 force, which really helped with the list. So that was pretty much the prep. I guess we get on to the trip now. So Wednesday, day 1, arriving to Adepticon. I woke up early in the morning, got up for my 5 a.m. flight, ended up getting delayed getting into Milwaukee. But during my layover in Minneapolis, I was able to meet some other Adepticon goers. They were going, and we ended up having a beer and a pretty good lunch. Like, it was actually one of the better burgers I've ever eaten at an airport. And so we basically talked for 2 hours while we were waiting for our flight because everyone got delayed. Uh, Short note, that's not a one-time issue. Delays at the airport were a constant. Um, After that, getting into Milwaukee, Plugakoi picked me up from the airport. We ended up going getting the Airbnb set up, make sure we got everything squared away over there. Then we went to the Adepticon and picked up our badges. Line actually went through pretty quick. Picked up our badges. Day one, I was able to score the Cassian and the Krennic boxes from people who had this VIP goodie bag and they didn't play Shatterpoint. So I was able to snipe and get some of those boxes, and I paid some people some money, but I got those boxes early before the delay. My brother was very happy about that because he is a Krennic player. I've been enjoying Andor on the table myself. So we go to the Airbnb, back to Airbnb, just relax, get everything ready after looking around the con. I end up can't look at the tables because the miniatures room for the AMG events was shut down on Wednesday, so I couldn't really go in there and take pictures of all the tables. And just looked around the con, looked at some of the painted models for the Golden Dragon, and that's basically the end of day one. Day one was just badge pickup, fly into Milwaukee, and kind of get a layout for the event. So Thursday, day two. This is the beginning of the actual event. Today is on my schedule is Heat One, and Heat One was the Shark Tank, as so called. There is a ton of good players in this event, and going in, I was excited but a little nervous. This is my first competitive event for Shatterpoint. I haven't done any GTs prior to this, and my local scene here in Washington on Spokane side is kind of small. There's not very many players, and generally no events are running. So I go into this event, and I guess I'll show you the results. So Heat One, Heat One. This was a pretty intense event. As you can see on the results down, I went 4-0 on day one. So round one, I end up playing against a player named Rickard. Uh, I saw that he had a Empire team set up. I knew he was going to play Empire right off the bat. Right off the bat, I decided I'm playing Mandalorians just because Mandos are what I'm bringing to counter Empire and to counter like weird maps of stuff like that. I like having all the jumps. And it was a good call bringing Mandos because he brought Crosshair Iden, which is a super, super killy team. But I'm able to leverage Mando and Armor in this match really well. Paz did Paz things in terms of didn't want to shoot Paz, so the wound count ended up being fairly low for him. It was I got 5 wounds to his 3, and this game was pretty quick. It was a 2-1 struggle. Like, he got struggle 2 pretty quick. It's shifting. He got to choose the map, but I cleared it out pretty easily. It was a good game. Can't really recall too much of like anything crazy that happened. Round two. Now, round two was up against Jr. Durkot, and I played him in the team tournament as well. So he was a cool opponent. I noticed that he had an Iden, Gideon, Thrawn, and Charming Leia. I noticed that he played Iden, Gideon game one. And this is where I come down to realize the point that I'm probably going to be facing Empire the entire run. Spoiler: all of day one was Empire for me, and I have to rip Anakin or Mace Mundi before the events end, so I decided to play that now. I have a hunch because if he just is dropping Iden as his only major like offensive piece, and it's not Iden Vader, I think I can squeeze by with Mace Mundi. Just because I don't care about my stuff getting wounded as much in that list with the force economy of that list. So he brings Leia and Thrawn. This is a Imperial spy list. He has running the layup box with Thrawn, Callus, and ISBs, really utilizing the maneuverability of the spies and just the insane amount of scoring. And this is where, again, shifting priorities was saying. I ended up playing. It was not shifting. It was sabotage get on my first round, which is the other reason why Mando did pretty well. I was able to nullify Iden a bit there, but game two. This was a 2-0 struggle. This came down to Mace. I took the midline pretty aggressively, but he ended up taking more of the midline, and he scored it out really quick in terms of getting the midline. And Mace was able to get shatterpointed, put him up on the left side with ISBs. He is not able to wound the ISBs. Mace has this terrible habit of he throws a lot of dice, but his expertise does not convert that well. So I left ISBs on 2, but I was able to get him engaged. So we're fighting over the point. He takes the far right point, uh, but not on like level. He's able to pretty much have the midline. The next turn, I pull Pawns, and Pawns flips me 4 points. He wounds the ISBs, but this is after dashing it. Jedi, like such a dynamic play. The entire midline is taken by me going Pawns, wounding ISB, repositioning onto the center point, and then advancing a Padawan that I dashed up on towards the other point to get him on directly onto the point on the far side. Leia comes in, tries to do the revenge attack against Pawns, but I'm in the Mace bubble, so she's not able to do anything to Pawns because of the protection steadfast. And I instantly take the 4 points. And for the rest of the struggle one, I kept control and kept the midline without anything really getting wounded. Mundi came in and finished up struggle 2, came up just Mundi and Shakti just kind of cleaned things up. So Pawns ended up being the most dynamic play of me for the weekend. So it went down. Game 3, another Iden matchup. This time it was Iden Gideon, and I'm like, well, I ripped my Mace game already. I don't need to worry about playing Mace, so I decided I'm going to play Mandalorians for the rest of the day because they are the team that I decided to bring specifically to carry me the rest of the game if I lost my Mace game, but I won Mace, so game 3 I end up playing against uh, Dr. Chrono Rex and bringing Iden Gideon. I believe uh, did I win priority here? I can't remember, but oh no, I did win priority because we're playing Sabotage Showdown, which is the map I brought. So winning priority, I end up going with Sabotage Showdown and pretty much nullify the infiltrate. That's kind of the theme of how I play Mandalorians is bringing Sabotage Showdown. I can nullify the advantage of infiltrate, and we're now fighting on 2 lanes rather than trying to fight on 3 lanes of the board. And I'm able to basically just completely out wound him again. It was 6-4, so it was an extremely violent game. But armor and coverts, like coverts got me more kills during the day than any other model, but Paz makes it so that I'm able to like match the attrition of Empire. And it came down to that coverts and Paz keeping up on the attrition front and wounding Iden early with armor, stuff like that matters. And then final round. So final round, this is I played against Sean Piccone. Many of you may have heard of him. He's especially in the Zion's Finest crew. Play up against him. He's bringing his Thrawn Gideon list, which is a scoring list. And again, I just rip Mandos into this and play the attrition game on him. It's a not that much wound game. It was a three. We each got 3 wounds. It's just Mandalorians are able to take advantage of the map because a lot of these maps at Adepticon had low ingress points, not very many of them. So I was able to take advantage of the jumps. Then that's it for my day one. Day one, I end up 4-0, and I end up in second place overall going into Heat 2. So it was a pretty good day. I was riding this high all weekend. I did not expect to do this well, but uh, just I play this game alone at my house with my brother for the most part. Like I don't really play a whole lot locally because there's not again we don't really have a local over here. And noticing because I play like 3 or 4 games a week, and the going 4-0 at Adepticon, it was a very very intense feeling. Like the adrenaline rush didn't end until like my final day. I was on very much on cloud nine. So day 3 of the con. This was a team tournament day. And because I didn't do Heat 2, I ended up doing the team tournament with Plugacoid. And we end up going pretty well with our Bounty Hunter Synergy team. And we just went into this event and we were just going to play, see how far we go. And we can go over the results here. Spoiler, we did pretty good because we got the gold. We got the gold. And I will go through the playthrough. So, the team tournament. In this event, each teammate brings 2 squads, and we have to pair it with our other teammate squads, and you can't repeat a pairing. So, Leia has to play with both my teammates' teams, and so does Luminara. So, for this event, it came down to we just really needed to make sure we did the right pairings at the right time. And we were trying to save our Leia Mando team up for the one round where we know we're going to need it. That paid off because we got some pretty good games in right off the bat. So the first game we rip in the team tournament, the first pairing is I end up using my Lumi Crosshair Fifth Brother team, and we end up pairing that with Mando, Death Trooper, Escort, and Dark Troopers. We thought we were going to have a tougher game with this first one. We ended up winning this game 2-0, just utilizing the Empire synergies and Crosshair nuking stuff. We were able to pretty handily just take control of the board. We ripped this combo a little earlier than we thought we should have, but we just didn't know. Our idea was we wanted to use the Lumi games pretty early on. In hindsight, we should have saved our Lumi Mando pairing to probably a later game, but we ripped it here. Our second round, we did Luminara paired with Cad Bane, and this team was pretty good. We end up going up against a Bad Batch setup, and Crosshair was able to do some pretty cool stuff, like snipe at an opposing player's Hunter. Hunter got the dash, but he dashed in range 4 of Cad Bane, and Cad Bane just got the wounds off. This we utilized Cad Bane's wounding potential with his doing the additional 2 damage quite a bit, and the list worked really well. Cad Bane would be better in our final game, but like the list did what it needed to do. Game 3. So game 3, we are going into Daimyo Matt and Scott B. Scott B is the world champion, and Daimyo Matt is from Zion's Finest, is part of the group over there. We had a pretty intense game. This is where we decided to rip our Leia Mando team up, and it is very good that we did because they ended up with on the uh I believe it was Vader Gideon or Vader Thrawn. It was one of the two. Basically, it was an Empire killing list utilizing Vader, and Vader got a lot of kills here. We got some others, but there was one key moment where we were able to turn it around, and that was Leia hitting Vader, an exposed Vader, with a revenge attack, shoving him off the point, preventing him from scoring it. Once that happened, we were able to maintain board presence, and we just kind of were able to. It was a pretty tight game, but we ended up getting this one 2-1, I believe, and it was pretty intense. Our final game. This one was tough. This one we end up going up against all Mandos. The Oops All Mandos team. It's the exact same list that I brought to Worlds. The Armorer Mando with Clan Kryze, Bo Katan, and Paz Vizsla, and the Coverts. This board was insane. Everything ended up in we were fighting struggle 3 in the center line. And man, we couldn't. Paz was providing such a problem for us because the priority point kept falling on the Paz point. So we're each scoring 2 and 2 back and forth. It's going back and forth, and we can't really break this conundrum. So the game's going on and stuff's getting wounded. We finally pull up Shock T. Shock T clears literally repulses like 7 models off the midline, getting rid of Paz, and we're able to then actually score it out. And man, it took a while though. The playing Leia Cad into this matchup was such a challenge to make it work. It's definitely one of the weaker pairings we had, but Shock T came in and actually did a lot of work this game, and we end up with the win. We have the strongest strength of schedule, and we pretty much go undefeated. This was the funnest event for me of the weekend because I got to play against several different lists. It wasn't just all Empire. Spoiler alert: I play one non-Empire list in all of Worlds. So yeah. So team tournament day was a huge success. We ended up going back to the Airbnb after dinking around some more at the convention. It's a blast. We are having fun. It's a Friday, and we go back to the hotel. We just ordered Airbnb, and we just kind of relax. Again, we had a best scoring event for this. This was the one event I won of the weekend. And bringing home the gold was pretty cool. Did not expect it, but had a lot of fun, and Cad Bane did work. So Saturday comes around. Today was the final round for me for the Heat 1. Heat 1 top 16. I was pretty ecstatic, but again, new day and new mind. I end up going, I'm going to take Mandos through this entire event, and I guess I will show you the results and let that speak for itself. So, the Heat 1 top 16. This was probably the tougher games of the weekend, I would want to say. So round 1, I'm going up against the Kiaramundi Luminara list. This list is pretty good with its displacement, with the amount of movement. Crosshair activations are crazy scary in this list. I end up winning initiative here. And I notice he's bringing Never Tell Me the Odds, and I'm looking at the board. I end up choosing his mission because he's bringing Jedi with a lot of melee attacks, and I'm going to bring Mando, my Mando list. He does have displacement in this list, but we are playing with the cranes on this map, and there's one in the center that's particularly at a good spot. I'm like, okay, if I pull Nevertell and I pull one of the better deployments, it'll work out. Turns out we pull the X, which is everyone's least favorite thing, and right off the bat, I rip uh, Paz is my first activation. I move him towards the center. He hunkers up, and I'm like, good, go. He does an activation. I pull Bo Katan. Bo Katan jumps Paz Vizsla directly up onto the center point uh, when his Kiadamundi had just gone, so I don't have to worry about that type of displacement. And Paz sits here for the rest of the game. I'm able to utilize the Mandalorian's jumps. It ended up only me getting, I want to say, 2 wounds here. I did not get that many wounds. He got 4. Uh, but Paz had 5 injured tokens on him because Paz kept waking back up. This was one of the games where Paz was engaged, so he was never able to really shoot anything, but I flip him into his melee stance for that steadfast. So he stays on the point, and Paz kept dying. So Paz kept waking up. Next time Paz goes, he's like, yeah, he's definitely going to get knocked, taken off the board. But by Paz maintaining that center board the entire game, like the rest of the Mandalorians just outscored everything. It was a pretty quick game, but it was a grinding game, and it was my 2 wounds to his 4, I believe, and won that round. Round 2. This is where I get knocked out. Going up against Godliness and bringing one of the scariest. So I win priority again. I believe he was bringing shifting, and I brought sabotage. I thought bringing sabotage was the best call here. I was wrong. Um, if it was shifting, I would not have had to worry about Vader as much, but playing sabotage, he didn't go for wounds because he avoided my revenge triggers. I get wounds on his supports pretty quick, but Vader just bullies the points constantly. He's just pushing people off, and he's just letting Vader go back in the deck. Vader's able to basically bully one whole side of the board, and the other board, Iden actually came in and actually did the whole get some kills on that side and made it so that side wasn't scoring anything. But the other side, Vader just kept bullying it. So I couldn't really do anything to maintain the board. So struggle 1, it ends up going in. It's a long drawn out struggle. Struggles 2, I am able to squeeze the struggle 2 victory just by out placing him with the points where the thing lined up. But struggle 3, it just came down. Paz was in the wrong spot. Bringing sabotage here really was a mistake because I couldn't utilize Paz. And because the whole idea on what I do with Paz is I send him towards the midline, even on sabotage, just because that's where he wants him. I couldn't do that here. I just got pegged down, and yeah, it's the one game where Paz kind of came to bit me in the butt, but every other round, Paz did what he does. He is a piece that you have to plan around, and here it just didn't work. Godliness got this victory pretty easily. This was the really challenging game, and yeah. Duncan with the Empire. Good luck to you with Inquisitors, man, because they got a big buff with that balance pass. So this was the end of my run. Now, the cool thing about that is, so I end up today scoring 7th place out of the top 16. I can't complain with how far I made it. I made it a lot farther than I thought I was. It did vindicate me as a player, but that's not the end of the day. So after the rounds end, after all the events finish, it was the Rogue Support Hangout. This is where I got to really hang out with Daimyo Matt and Accuser. So it's like we just talked, had beers. I had this really interesting chocolate beer, and I drank 3 pints of that. It was pretty good. and we just kind of partied. End up chatting a lot with Aubrey, and we got into this big discussion about Star Wars lore, about like how to make the Boba Fett show actually like hit hard. It was cool. It was just nonstop talking Shatterpoint, talking Star Wars, and we got to geek out. I ate half a chicken because we were at this restaurant place, Third Street Market, which is the hangout spot of Milwaukee, 100%. It was awesome. So go home, go back to the Airbnb, rest. Just hyped about how well I did, and it was fun. And like the adrenaline is still like there. Like I can't believe I did that good at the event. So like it took me like I didn't go to bed until like freaking 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The I was just too amped. So Sunday, final day of the convention. The weekend is good, but this is the day where the adrenaline finally dropped. I woke up with massive migraines. I was not feeling well going into the event. Um, Again, like I didn't have a whole lot to eat this weekend. I had like two good meals with the pizza and the chicken, but the rest of the weekend I'm on a diet of soda and really, really bad con food that made me sick. So I end up going into this event of adversaries allies, not in like I'm enjoying the convention, but my head I had a massive headache, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to play in the event all, full time. So my round one opponent gave me some aspirin, which I appreciate a lot, and I end up going through the game and doing this. I end up doing pretty well at this one as well. I end up bringing my team of Mandos with Jedi, which is just kind of funny. Round one, and end up going up against a Mando Charming Leia team. What was I playing against? I got my book here. It has like all my bookkeeping from the event. And let's see. Adversaries allies. My round one was Mando Plo Koon. This was a displacement team that they were cooking up with, and uh, it was a pretty quick game. I think it was. Yeah, I just outwon him. It was 4 wounds to 2. It was 2-1 struggle. He got struggle 2 again. I believe we played on sabotage. So like the flops can do the flop things, and so, but this is a really casual event. Round one player did not play a lot of Shatterpoint, so I end up walking him through a lot of stuff with Mando. Like he's never played with Mando before, so I walked him through with some revenge triggers and how it works. So this game ended up being each of these victories. I did not take the golden winners ticket. I already got all the stuff I needed off the prize wall with the tickets, so I just gave my opponents the tickets every time. I didn't need them. Round two. This was a 2-0 game, and this one I got a normal opponent, and it was Kanan Luminara versus my Jedi team. And this again, I'm playing enough displacement with Force Push and Repulse. Kanan never really got off a revenge trigger. I just pushed everything away. So I end up scoring that one. I'm feeling a little better, less of a headache. Final round. Again, kind of a newer player. All three of these players were more on the beginning level. This was definitely can tell this was a more casual event. Um, so final round is interesting. I end up getting a ton of wounds, but I'm actually not able to score a lot. Again, I'm walking him through some of the plays, but the interesting thing pops up is that I end up giving him the win here, and without fully playing the rest of the struggle 3 because the one of our people got a ticket for the Vader Ahsoka dual box, and he already has it, so he's like looking for a person to give it to. And the new player goes, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "It's a new kit." He didn't have the kit, so I'm like, "Yeah, take the ticket, go and pick it up." The vendor's hall's getting ready to close, so I told him, "Yeah, don't worry, I'll record the thing here. You can have the win." And I gave him the win, gave him the ticket and everything, and said, "Yeah, no, just do it. Go get the dual pack because it's a convention exclusive." And so he ends up going that. We end up just talking the rest of the game, yeah, and walking through beginning of stuff. This event was super casual, and in hindsight, I'm for next year's Adepticon, I will not be entering the Sunday event. I'm gonna stick to the Worlds and the team tournament because I didn't get a chance to walk around the convention and like the vendors hall or anything. I playing games the entire event. I don't recommend it. I did it because it was my first Adepticon, but I think I'm gonna enjoy the con more. Still gonna enter like the World Championship and stuff, but I'm gonna enter less side events. So that's the end of the convention. And I can say without a doubt, I'm doing Adepticon next year. So if you want to come catch me play games, you can at Adepticon. I have a GT coming up in August. So I end up Sunday, less of an exciting day, just kind of, it was basically casual games. And uh, oh, I did forget to talk about on Friday the reveals panel. The reveals panel was fun. I actually got to go to that. Lack of reveals was like a little upsetting, but when they announced the balance pass, I'm like, I don't care about any of the new stuff. Like I'm happy about the new releases we're getting, but the balance passes were all I'm at. Let's make Republic great again. And Republic got pretty good with the balance pass. So that's my Saturday or my Sunday. Uh, Now let's get to the bane of the weekend. So Monday arrives. I wake up 5 a.m. to leave my Airbnb for my 7 o'clock flight. I should be getting back to Spokane by 2 p.m. the day on Monday. After all my flights and everything. Oh boy, did that not happen. I end up getting home not until 10:15 p.m. So my flight to Minneapolis for my layover got delayed because of some issues. So that delay caused me to have to change flights all the way back to Spokane. And so now I have an extra layover in Seattle. So I'm stuck here waiting for my now what was supposed to be a 7 a.m. flight now to an 11 a.m. flight. Then I land into Minneapolis for another 2 hour layover. So I am stuck there. Then I have to fly to Seattle. And Seattle I have to wait for another 3 hours. I finally get back to Spokane and I'm like, okay, cool. I got to take the bus home because I could take an Uber, but that's more expensive. And the bus is cheaper. Well, I have to catch the final bus to get my back to my apartment. So by the end of the day, I am super exhausted and I end up crashing pretty much right when I get home. Pretty uneventful Monday, spending 13 hours at the airport and in layovers. It was, let's just say, all the karma of having a great weekend at the con and came back to bite me on the Monday on the way out. Like, it was doing, it's like karmic nature was doing its best to make like, yeah, you did really well at your event, yeah, go bring back, here's reality. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't bother me one bit. I was still riding the high, but man, that flight was, my delays were probably the unluckiest delays I've ever had in an airport. So yeah. I hope you have all enjoyed episode 0 of this podcast. This is not going to be the normal take. I'm going to be having guests on every couple of weeks. This is just kind of, I needed to get this Adepticon recap, and I've been kind of putting it off, and kind of wish I didn't, but getting everything set up the channel set up and everything for future. So, spoiler alert, upcoming next week on the 23rd, I will be recording an episode of The Chosen One with a very special guest, Aubrey from Momentous Struggle. And if you want, that episode should be uploaded by the following Monday. And that will be the first official podcast. Podcast number one, we have a couple segments. We'll be talking Balance Pass. We will be discussing a couple lists that we're going to bring. And I hope you guys look forward to that episode. This is Qui-Gon Din signing off. Peace.